I think that at the same time, we're seeing this idea that if we only help people, if we only, open our borders, if we only give more funds, then people aren't bad because they're bad. People are bad because they're poor, because they've been victimized. But if we just help them enough, then we'll finally reach the utopia. And I think, this manifests in very different kind of political views, but that underlying assumption is there. Personally, next door, we have Palestine, which is, or we have Gaza, which is one of the most humanitarian aid funded places in the world. And the countries and the organizations that were pouring money into Gaza wanted the best for the Palestinian people. And that's an admirable cause. The fact that those funds then went to, you know, build tunnels bigger than the New York subway system tunnels for the Hamas terrorists and for their entire organization and for their ammunition. The fact that, all of this humanitarian funding has been going into rockets that have been fired at Israel. And meanwhile, all of the leaders are sitting on, billions of dollars of net worth, in Qatar, in the hotels in Qatar. And that same altruism, all of the countries and all of the organizations that funded money into this place without having um, the bravery to look under the hood and to see where this money was going, because this money had certain intentions, and the consequences um, were very far from those intentions. So I think that's just one example, but there are other areas in which we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot because we're guided blindly by, empathy and doing good for others. So, what other, policy level, society level things have you seen where this stuff can go wrong?
I think there's a question of who gets there first. So, in other words, what people learn first of all, it's as the Jesuits used to say, give me a child until the age of 7 and I will show you, you know, the man.
Yes.
So if people are taught in a certain way that a certain group is that they're good, right? That group is really good no matter what. Then what happens is no matter what the, the evidence to the contrary, you will find a way to either ignore that evidence or say that evidence is got a it's not worth looking at. It's not, it's very, very difficult to get people to change their minds. And so I think this is part of what is going on in the battleground of universities in the US is sort of who, who gets there first to shape young minds about who the real victim is. And once you get shaped in a certain way, it's hard to step back and look objectively at evidence. And so people just, they're not taught to do that. So if someone gets there first and they're taught to empathize and so forth, you don't even think about um, looking at objective evidence. So, I think it starts from who's got big money that they're pouring into universities and attempting to shape opinions. Um, and it's from a policy level, that's important to be front and center, I think.
This reminds me of this idea of the paradox of tolerance. I think this is Karl Popper's essay. And he basically talks about the fact that if you have a tolerant society, it's very easy for people who are intolerant to game that system and to use the fact that the society is tolerant in order to promote their intolerant ways. And I think that's one of the things that we've seen. And this is related at the end of the day, that tolerance, that's related to empathy, to altruism, to that agreeableness personality trait. And when we have that as our culture, and we don't know where to draw the line, and I wonder whether people don't know where to draw the line between good and evil, or whether they're not brave enough to do so. Because when you do so, when you say this is good and this is bad, I agree with this and I don't agree with this, I don't stand for this. You're taking a stand, and there might be some conflict by you saying what your actual opinion is. So that's a question, where that's motivated from.
I do think that there's a critical mass of public opinion. And when some people are really loud and really vociferous and really make it threatening if you disagree, then it's easier to get acquiescent, empathetic people onto your side.